Picture this. You are in your elementary or secondary school, sitting at your desk, and the bell has just rung. You're in math class, a period that a lot of people dread. There you are, ready to take on an integers lesson, a topic that you've been struggling with for most of the year. Then the teacher comes and they start explaining it. You look around the room and most of your peers are understanding, but you are stuck. Can you remember how it felt? Can you remember the impact that it had on you? I can, and I remember feeling deteriorated and less than compared to my peers. Now I will ask you to count backwards from -10. What are the three numbers that follow? Well, most of you might have said, easy, -9, -8, -7, when in reality it's not, because we don't count down from the right of the number line, we count to the left. This shows how we never really learned what integers are and how they work. We were just taught the rules to follow. Well, during today's TED Talk, we are here to talk about the dangers of teaching mathematical rules and only using one mean of engagement, one mean of representation, and one mean of expression, while holding the expectation that all students are going to leave that room understanding. Matter of fact is, we live in a world with very diverse learners who have very different needs in regards to understanding different subjects. I was once told, teaching is like playing bowling. The ball is the lesson you teach, and the children are the pins. Society always aims for the middle, much like our current educational system aims for the average student. Then we are left with some pins standing. Some students who still might not understand. How do we reach these learners? Using universal design learning principles, we are able to hit the harder pins first, the children who struggle the most. Then our chances of hitting them all are higher. This method of pedagogy is our current best form of not only claiming we have an inclusive classroom for all, but also creating one. During my time of my Genius Hour project journey, I wanted to dive into the pedagogical discovery of universal design learning, also labeled as UDL. This promising pedagogy of UDL originated from the work of Ronald Mace from the Center of Universal Design at North Carolina State. This center studies how universal design will make all aspects of life inclusive for all regardless of abilities. For instance, curb cuts and automatic doors are implemented for easier access to and from buildings, benefiting many with or without disabilities on a daily basis. Universal design is able to be integrated into our educational system, which would create a more equitable environment. This pedagogy is to provide students with multiple means of resources when learning. We find the barriers and we eliminate them, making one versatile lesson viable for all learners. The UDL core components consist of multiple means of representation, which is to give diverse learners options for acquiring information and knowledge, multiple means of action and expression, to provide learners options for demonstrating what they know, and multiple means of engagement, to tap into the learner's interest, offer appropriate challenges, and increase their motivation. This form of pedagogy is subjected to controversy as assumptions of the regular classroom exclude students with disabilities as they invade or disrupt due to their costly need for adaptation. Some even see UDL pedagogy as another modification. As a future educator, I have found it disheartening to know that some individuals view learning spaces as able-bodied neurotypical norms, and some never consider a normal classroom to be filled with individuals of varying abilities. As a volunteer for different schools, one of the first questions I ask the classroom teacher is if there are any children with varying abilities. This is so I can be aware of my own pedagogy to conform to the needs of those particular students. So, with this said, I decided to dedicate my time to creating an integers lesson that utilized all 3 principles of universal design learning. When implementing this lesson on different learners, each found a method of approach that really made them comprehend the topic of integers. And then they understood why counting backwards from -10 is not what most people think. Society, especially Canada, is so diversely advanced, and we need to be willing to conform to the needs of those around us. This form of pedagogy is something I've been learning and implementing more as its strategies and goals allow wider access for students with disabilities, while also allowing the integration of Millennium learners, encourage higher student rates of retention, guarantee higher rates of graduation, and establish greater equity and respect for diversity. Using the flexible instruction in this learning environment makes this design not only equitable for students with disabilities, but for everyone around them. For more information, please visit my website and blog to help you become a universally designed educator.